What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Green Torch Podcast. I'm your host, Josiah Shaver. And so the semester that I spent at the Arva Institute as an intern is now over, and I am actually back visiting one place that I went on a field trip with the other students and interns a few months ago, and it made such a good impression on me, specifically the hosts, that I was like, wow, I would love to come back to this place. It ended up working out. I'm back here for a few days, volunteering and helping out on the resort Airbnb style lodge area. I'll let the host Rodney explain a bit more about this place later on in the interview, but basically it's really neat. Super happy to be back and to talk to Rodney because he's got some really, really epic stories I'm excited to get into. Rodney, thank you for hosting me. Really appreciate it. It's super cool.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Could you maybe start off kind of explaining where you're from and how you got here? A bit like that.
Okay. Do you want some tea first?
Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you.
Okay. So. Yeah, it's for you. This is for you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, I'll get some honey while you.
Honey and dates.
Wow, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the story of this place specifically, I'll start it in 1993. I was doing a Bachelor's of Science in Cape Town University. And as the studies went advanced, I knew I'm not where I'm supposed to be, and I won't go into details, okay? But I left the university and I rebuilt a Land Rover, and then I drove from Cape Town all the way up Africa to Israel.
Wow.
And it took me 5 months, and that was much more interesting than university. Yeah. Yeah. And like the main impression or imprint that like followed me through that adventure was that life is like this wonderful present you're given. Like if you can imagine that you like a fruit and somebody gives you this task, this plate full of fruit, it doesn't matter how many fruits you eat, it still stays full. And on this journey, like this concept was very clear to me. It's very clear. Life is this wonderful present, and just go for it. Yeah? And I thought, wow, okay, I'm alive and I have this present. What would I like to do with this life? And I'm 26 years old, and I know life in the modern times, life is very long. It's very hard to fall dead in the street. Somebody will pick you up and help you recover, yeah? And again, going through mainly rural Africa, I was very impressed how the local people build with local material. And when I was traveling through with my Western eyes, what came to mind is that it's exotic, yeah? I noticed that like villages that have a lot of wood around them, they build their huts from wood. Villages that have a lot of grass around them will build with grass. If you have clay, you build with clay. It's like authentic, and it blends into the surrounding, very harmonic with harmonia. Yeah, it was wonderful. And the other thing that caught me is the pace. The pace is right. You're not under pressure. Nobody's running. People are just walking easy, and everything is like easy going.
Yeah.
There was like a 3-month period where I was alone, deep in Africa, and I understood that my heartbeat and the wind, it's the same frequency.
Huh.
It's the same frequency.
Wow.
You aren't above nature and you're not under nature. You're a part of nature. Yeah? And if you can tune in to the rhythm of nature, yeah, then things just happen for the good. Yeah?
Wow.
It was very clear. And then I came back to Israel. And Israel is a state full of conflict. And there's a lot of tension. The pace here is very fast. People build here with an attempt to conquer nature, not to blend in with nature. Many times nature is considered an obstacle. You know, it rains.
Yeah.
It rains. Yeah. Or there is a sandstorm, or it snows. You know, all these natural things interfere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I said to my girlfriend at the time, I said to her, let's go down to Africa and purchase some land, build a small house and live a quiet life and die. Because that's what happens at the end, you die. And she says to me, she's Israeli, she says to me, she goes to bed. If you want to have children with me, the children will speak Hebrew. Meaning, make a choice. The good life or the girl. But choose. Now, when you're 26, I was 26, I chose the girl, not the good life. Meaning, let's live in Israel because the children will speak Hebrew. Okay? And then I thought, okay, we have to make a change of plans. And I reckoned, okay, if I'm here, I'm going to create in Israel a place with the principles or the nice things I saw in Africa. Meaning I'm going to build local and we're going to have a nice, slow-paced life. Okay? And I went to her father. Her father's got a print house. And I shared with him my plans. And he immediately asked me, how much money do you have in your bank account? And you know, at the time, I maybe had $200. That's what I had. And he said to me, with that amount of money, it's impossible. But as he said that to me, I knew it's possible. Because I knew that he doesn't know how to initiate this project with $200. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. There's always a way. Yeah?
Yeah.
And also from that journey, that trip, I learned that if you know where you want to go, yeah, all you need is patience. And if you've got patience, you'll get there. So patience is like a key element that we all have. We all have. It's not something you can buy. Yeah? But if you have patience, you can find a way. You find the way, you'll get there. And for me, it took me 12 years, 6 years locating this area, and another 6 years of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So everything will be legal. Yeah? 6 years of finding the land, and then 6 years of bureaucracy.
Oh, wow.
So altogether 12 years. And you can say, wow, 12 years, it's a long time. But you must remember that when you are 6 years old, somebody pushes you into this education system for 12 years. And nobody asks you, would you like to go through this system? You're pushed in. Yeah. So I reckon I spent 12 years at school, but now I can spend as many years as I wish, advancing a project that I would like to do, not that the system would like me to do.
Yeah.
And then it's very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another thing is, I related to this project as a project for many generations. I don't have to finish anything. I'm just initiating. My children can continue if they wish. So it doesn't matter how long it takes me. What matters is, how am I living the day, each day? Yeah? Okay.
You mean like the pace and
the pace.
Relaxed? Are you doing what you enjoy?
Like you experienced here. At the end of the day, we sit down, some nice food, something nice to drink, calm conversation. There's no tension. Yeah?
Right.
There's no tension.
Very relaxed.
It's very relaxed. And once there's no tension that you have to break down. Because you don't accumulate it. And you can use your energy in other directions.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you like a small story from the journey in Africa. At the time, the Americans went into Somalia. Okay? And the bad Somalians were fleeing. They were running out of Somalia, and they were running one hand. They had the AK-47. On the other hand, they had 4 magazines, and they were running.
Oh, like they were actually running?
Running away.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they had.
Uh-huh.
And they were hungry and frustrated. And their aim was to find the main road from Nairobi, Kenya to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and maybe rob somebody there for food, for shelter, for whatever. So the Kenyan army was making patrols on that road, and when you were going on this road, you had to go in convoy. You had to go by convoy. Okay? Now, I managed to escape the convoy.
Oh.
I'd like take a soldier ride with me, and then somehow I'd escape the convoy. But the last 80 kilometers, they said to me, no, you must go in convoy. So I drove in the convoy. However, that same day, the connection between the wheels and the steering wheel was very loose. And there was this unit that broke loose every time I went over a bump. And you lose steering.
Oh, nice.
So I had to stop the car, go under the vehicle, and knock it back into place, and drive some more until I went on another bump. Then it would fall, stop the car, go underneath, knock it back into place, etc., etc.
Wow.
And it's very also frustrating and also tiring. Okay? And I'm in this convoy. At the end of the day, we get to like a checkpoint. And at the checkpoint, the soldier asks me for my passport. And I give him my passport, and he's starting to check. And I'm thinking, what is he checking? I'm driving in a military convoy. Like, what are you checking? And I was frustrated and out of patience, so I snapped my passport from his hands. And I got into my car and I drove, and I said, well, I'm almost in Ethiopia, and to hell with all these Kenyan soldiers and their checkpoints here. And I got to the border. I went through customs and everything, and then I had to go down this little slope, and there was a gate there, and there was a big soldier, and he was supposed to open the gate, and I would go into Ethiopia. But instead, he came towards my car, and he said to me, "You come with me." Yeah, and he took me to this building. It was a shed, more shed than a building. And he said to me, "You must stand trial." Oh, and I thought, okay, I'm in trouble. Yeah. And I said to myself, you must think quick. You don't want to rot in a local jail or something. And I'm the only person who's white. All the rest are Africans. So I go into the room and I see there's many people waiting for trial. I'm not the only one.
Oh.
And I make a lot of noise. I say, you haven't got the right. I want to talk to my embassy. What is this? I make a lot of noise. So they call me into trial quickly because I make a lot of noise. And next to me is standing the soldier who was checking my passport.
Oh.
But when we went into trial, then I flipped. And I said to the judge, I would like to apologize before this soldier. He was doing his job correctly. I was not patient. I had a tough day. I think you should pull his salary up, because he did his job. He stayed calm, although I was restless, And then they said to me, okay, you can go. They released me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But I noticed in this occasion how much my patience affects the situation.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And it's like, if you're too cheeky, you can rot in jail.
Wow. That's good.
Right? You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I came to doing the bureaucracy, I used the same method. Every time I went into a meeting with somebody from it doesn't matter which department, health department, or water department, you must always make sure that when that person, at the end of the day, goes home, he tells his wife, today I met this person, he was so interesting, he was so funny. He must remember you. The next time you come for a meeting with him, he will remember you in a positive way, and he will initiate to help you.
Nice.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if you come in and you demand whatever, then the person in front of you immediately will back up. Immediately, yeah. I want this. Ooh, okay, take it easy,
Right.
But if you come in and you tell an interesting story and you make personal contact, then you're remembered with a smile. Yeah?
That's good.
Yeah. And it's not about money. It's not about money. It's about attitude. Okay? So at the beginning of 2006, we started building this project.
Wow.
And I have Bedouin Neighbors here.
Same ones we heard the call to prayer from earlier.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now, before I started this project, I went around different settlements, Jewish settlements in the area, and I wanted to get an impression, how do I deal with the Bedouin people here? Because their stereotype is terrible. They are thieves, they are dirty, they are violent, drug dealers, you can't trust them, etc., etc.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I got a very clear message. Don't employ them, don't trust them, fence in your property. It's better to put an electrical fence and have an electrical gate in the entrance.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah?
Really quick, because I don't know if everybody understands where we are exactly. Can you kind of describe geographically where we're located within the country?
Okay. So we are 140 kilometers south from Tel Aviv. Okay? This region, it's called Negev. It's a desert. We have average 80 millimeters of rainfall a year.
80 millimeters.
Millimeters.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you have to convert it, right?
Yeah. 0.8 centimeters. Is that right?
You're right.
Yeah. That's pretty minimal.
It's not a lot.
Wow.
Okay? And specifically, we are sitting on the most eastern sand dune of Israel.
Huh.
Okay? Okay?
All right.
And so this is why this place is so special. Okay? So we in the desert. The desert area for many, many generations was very empty, very scarcely populated, and the population were the Bedouin people. The Bedouin people are nomads. They have sheep, goats, camels, and they are like the lords of this region. And they lived here for hundreds of years, very peacefully and quietly, and no problem. In 1948, the state of Israel was, what's the word?
Established. Formally.
Yeah. They did a count. 1948, they did a count, and they reckoned there's about 5,000 Bedouins in the south of Israel. Okay? And they were more or less left to live their lives quietly. Okay? In 1990, Russia opened, and about 1 million people immigrated from Russia to Israel.
Wow.
And many of them came to live in Beersheba, which is like the southern capital of Israel, or biggest city in the south of Israel.
Which is like?
It's 20 minutes
20
north.
Minutes. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's 20 minutes north
of where we are, yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Okay? And the city of Beersheba grew, and what this triggered is that there were more and more government officers moving south to serve the population. Okay? And there was more contact between the government and the Bedouin people. And then in 1990 they did another count, and they discovered that there are 100,000 Bedouins in the region.
Wow.
Okay?
That's between 5,000 and 100,000. That's quite a difference.
That's a big difference.
Oh, man.
And they got a shock.
Yeah.
The thing is that nobody did a count during the years. There is about a 50 year gap between the two counts.
Yeah.
Okay. The medical services were improved dramatically. There's much more food around. There's no reason why the population wouldn't grow.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, the Bedouin have this reputation.
Right.
Okay? So that's why I got this advice to put an electrical fence around and stay away from them.
Interesting.
Yeah. However, when I started building, I looked for labor to help me, right?
Right.
And I went to the kibbutzim. I went to the Jewish settlements. And I said, I'm looking for people who want to work. But they wanted to work for me only if I give them a car, give them a phone, give them a manager's salary. And I'm looking for cheap labor.
Yeah.
Right? So I understood with the Jewish population, I won't get any help. And I decided to check out with the Bedouin population. And two Bedouin brothers came to work with me. The one guy worked a full day, and the other guy worked half a day. And they helped me build a place. Okay? And they taught me the Bedouin way of thinking. Yeah?
Okay, so they were working with you for a longer period. One would do half days, the other one would do full days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What created this change within me to approach the Bedouin for help was an occasion that happened here. And I'll tell you the story with the group.
Yeah.
But I'll repeat it. To repeat it?
Thank you.
Okay. So, it was a winter's day, and a Bedouin jeep came down the hill right next to us. And, you know, if you drive off-road, your tires will make tracks on the land. And in the desert, these tracks, they can stay for years on the hill. It's like a scar on the hill.
Yeah.
So I stopped him, and I said to him, why are you opening new tracks? Why don't you drive on an existing dirt road? And he said to me, I honor you. And he drove off. Okay? The next day I came to work, and I saw that one of this room, actually, it's this room.
Oh yeah, back here.
Yeah, this room was demolished.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I had a look at the tracks that bashed the walls in, and I had a look at the track that came down the hill the day before, and I saw it's the same vehicle. Yeah. So I went to the sheikh. Sheikh is the Bedouin leader.
Okay.
And I described to him the person, because I spoke to the person, and I described the vehicle. And I told him what happened, and I asked him, what is this? You know, why was my property demolished? And he said to me, I'll check it out for you. And after a week, I met up with the Bedouin sheikh. And he said to me, apparently, you didn't speak to them nicely. And I thought, okay, if this is how the Bedouins are reacting with me, I'll teach them. Because I was in the army. And in the army, you are taught to deal with violence with more violence. Right?
Yeah.
So, I made contact with a friend of mine who was still serving in the army. And I asked him to bring me a hand grenade. And he gave me the hand grenade. And then I took an axe. And I took a piece of wire. And you tie the one end of the wire to the handle of the axe. And the other end of the wire you tie to the pin of the hand grenade. And then I dug a hole right here. And I put the hand grenade in the ground. I covered it, and I left the axe lying on the ground. And whoever would come and lift the axe, the wire would make the pin release, the safety pin would release, and the hand grenade would explode.
Wow.
Right? Violence. Okay? And I was professional. So after you lay it all down, you take a bush and you walk in reverse, and with the bush, you camouflage your footsteps. That's what I did. So I go back, camouflage the footsteps, yeah? And I look at the axe lying on the ground, and I say to myself, okay, now this Bedouin will come back, lift the axe, hand grenade will explode, and I'll show him, yeah? Right? However, then a thought came through my mind, a thought from nowhere. What happens if somebody else is walking around in this area and he sees the axe? Will he pick it up or won't he pick it up? Right? It's like a red light there. And I had these question marks. And then I had even a more developed thought. What happens if that specific Bedouin who I want to get back at will pick up the axe and will lose his limbs, whatever? Will I gain this nice, quiet life I wish for myself? Or will I open up with a war with 9,000 Bedouins, my neighbors? Question mark, right?
Yeah.
So on this question mark, I went back, I dismantled this booby trap, I gave the hand grenade back to my friend, and I said to myself, you are new in this block, you must learn the codes.
The codes. Like how to act.
To interact with the Bedouin people. There are codes.
Yeah.
Yeah? It's not chaotic. And for 3 years, I didn't retaliate. They came in and they broke property and they stole property and they did a lot of damage.
Wow.
I did nothing. The only thing I did is in the evenings I would go and I would sit in their tents, I would drink their tea, and I would tell them who I am and what my future plans are.
Wow.
And slowly I got to know them on a personal level. Yeah? And I gained their trust.
Wow.
Okay?
For 3 years.
Well, it took me 3 years to learn the codes.
Okay.
I'm a slow learner.
Wow.
Yeah?
All right, folks, that is the first part of this really rich interview with Rodney. I did want to break it off because it got pretty long and divide it into 2 sections, but I really hope you can tune into the next section as well. In that part, Rodney talks about more of his military experience with the Special Forces, what he was trained to do, and even a time when he went into Gaza and the really tough experiences he saw and witnessed and was part of there. We also talk about Bedouin culture, what he's learned from his Bedouin neighbors, as well as the psychology and the cultural dimensions of the Israel-Palestine conflict and what he's learned over the years. So make sure you like and follow, subscribe to the show so that you can get that next episode. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, most of the major platforms. If you would consider leaving a review, that would be super helpful. It helps more people find the show. And if you would even consider supporting the show to make future episodes happen, you can do that on Patreon, and you will also get access to exclusive content by supporting us on Patreon. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Josiah Shaver, did the editing and publishing for this episode. Appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, grace and peace to you and yours.